Our leadoff story this morning, and Brenda, the story this morning that leads our newscast is really what didn't happen last night, because we had a rare, quiet night here in Portland.
Yeah, we did. Two smaller groups did gather yesterday evening, one at the Justice Center and another at Alberta Park in Northeast Portland. But we saw no acts of violence or any clashes with police. The calm comes as city leaders, including the mayor, are condemning Monday night's riot in the Pearl District. Police made 19 arrests that night as protesters lit fires, including one inside the mayor's condominium building. Police are facing their own scrutiny, though, after one officer was caught on camera running down and punching a protester. Our Mike Benner has more.
This was the scene at Northwest 10th and Gleason Monday night. Hundreds of protesters occupying the streets outside the building where Mayor Ted Wheeler lives. Demonstrators started several fires, one of them inside a dental office in the base of the building.
They actually tried to set fire inside in the deep space of the clinic, and that in a high-rise building, that's completely uncalled for. That could have gotten out of hand, and it could have really led to something pretty serious.
Neighbors echo that sentiment.
This no longer has anything whatsoever to do with Black Lives Matter, and that's the tragedy of this.
As police dispersed the large crowd Monday night, cameras captured one officer tackling and punching a protester. We're told this is now under review. In the meantime, Mayor Wheeler turned to Facebook to share his thoughts on what the officer did and what protesters did. The mayor says these acts range from stupid to dangerous to criminal. The violence must stop. None of this should sit well with any thinking Portlander. Portland's police chief Chuck Lavelle is also weighing in, not on what cameras captured his officer doing, but instead on what happened outside Mayor Wheeler's condo building. The chief says last night marked yet another escalation of the senseless violence. The families that live inside have done absolutely nothing to provoke a threat to their lives. Only time will tell if the statements from these city leaders make the slightest bit of difference moving forward. In Portland, Mike Benner for KGW News.
We're also tracking the latest on the deadly shooting from Saturday as supporters of the president clashed with counter-protesters downtown. Still, no arrests have been made. However, the Oregonian newspaper quotes police sources as saying they're investigating a man named Michael Reinl. He identifies as an anti-fascist and has a history at the recent Portland protests, according to the paper. This is a picture of him from an interview he did with Bloomberg. He was arrested back in early July on charges of resisting arrest and carrying a gun during a protest. Court records show those charges were later dropped. The Oregonian also reports Reinl was shot in the arm in late July while trying to wrestle a gun away from someone else during a scuffle in downtown Portland. We'll keep you updated. Well, Governor Brown is sending Oregon State troopers to help Portland police with protest responses, and the troopers chosen for this have already been specially deputized by U.S. Marshals just for these protests. Pat Doris talked about this on The Story last night and explained what that special classification means and how it's really a game changer.
This is basically the ground changing under the feet of the protesters, because when the state police come in and they are cross-deputized by the U.S. Marshal's Office, suddenly they're able to make arrests under the federal laws. And I'm told that there is something similar to interfering with a police officer under the federal law. The county district attorney will not prosecute someone for that charge, but the U.S. Attorney's Office has been much more aggressive at holding people accountable and in prosecuting for all kinds of charges. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of that start to happen as soon as these officers arrive. I think that the public is going to take it differently, because instead of having this perception that President Trump is sending in a whole cadre of federal agents that are going to take over the city and teach those Democrats how to do things right, instead these are the people that have grown up here, that are state police officers all over the state. People know them. People generally have a very high respect for the state police, but they're also going to have these federal powers. They're not just going to stay at the federal courthouse, by the way. They'll probably be all over the city wherever the protests are.
That's pretty interesting, right? That was Pat Doris reporting for us. We're still waiting to hear from the Multnomah County DA's office about those changes. So this story is developing. We'll bring you updates as we learn them.
In coronavirus news this morning, Governor Kate Brown has extended the COVID-19 state of emergency in Oregon until November. So that means executive safety orders will stay in place. Now, that being said, Multnomah County is actually starting to approach numbers right now that would green light phase 2 of reopening. It's actually been a while since we talked about phase 2, but that would allow for things like movie theaters to reopen and more outdoor sports. Let's bring Bryant Clerkley into the mix right now because Bryant is covering the latest on Multnomah County for us. Right now, Bryant, it really seems like the county's focus has shifted to schools.
And that it has, Drew, and good morning. Dr. Jennifer Vines, who's the lead health officer for the Tri-Counties region, say Multnomah County is approaching phase 2 numbers, but right now they're focusing on a different issue right now, and the requirements for in-person learning is based on case numbers, and that means getting kids back to school. The cases need to be below 10 for every 100,000 people. Right now, the state is averaging around 50 per 100,000. As Multnomah County nears phase 2 metrics, they're looking at an even higher safety levels for schools.
We really have our sights set on the back to school metrics, which again are different and are actually quite a bit more stringent. For the record, we don't meet all of the phase 2 metrics right at this moment, but I can share that at least from a public health standpoint, and I think our leadership shares the philosophy that we really are laser focused on making the school metrics and getting our kids back in the classroom.
And kindergarten through 3rd grade can go back to school when the county is 30 cases or less per 100,000 people, and health officials are urging everyone to continue to use their masks, hygiene, and to social distance so we can get kids back to school. Drew?
All right, Bryant, thank you very much. We also have an update this morning regarding the economic impact of the pandemic because out-of-work Oregonians are about to get some extra financial help. The state just got approval for FEMA's Lost Wages Funding Program. So that means anyone who received unemployment benefits between July 26th and August 15th will get an extra $300 for each of those weeks. Again, right now it only covers those 3 weeks, but state officials say the assistance could be expanded.